Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division in the Community Cup tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go! Before I take my first shot, do not forget you can check down in the video description down below to get the direct timestamps for the specific holes in this playthrough. So if you don't need any help for hole 1, you skip directly to another hole that you might need help too. Also, if you do want to get updated text guides, you can get them through patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Last but not least, here is a drive on hole number 1. So, I'm gonna start by using the club that gives us the most distance and the most topspin, which is in that case is going to be an Apocalypse level 6. I'm going to use max topspin, and the only thing that I would change is to actually take away the side spin that I'm having to the left. The thing that we do want to achieve is to get it as close to the right side possible for us to get as such a straight wind possible towards the pin for a second shot. Max overpower, nothing else to really think about here. We do have a very open fairway here on this Meadow Castle hole, so we do need to use that. We need to go as far as possible to try to end up around the 360 to 380 yard mark to have a short iron towards the pin. Of course, further up then it's going to be possible to play with a short iron there as well. The thing that we do want to say here is, like in this case, we're going to play this shot in between medium and maximum distance, and we're going to play it uphill as well. So it's some slight uphill adjustment here. You can see here definitely on the angle here that we are going from a lower point to a higher point. Therefore, the wind is going to be having a less effect when we are taking our shot. So our opponent hits a great, gonna miss it to the right most likely here, or going to be short. Yeah, right and short actually in this case. But this is, hole number 1 is such an important hole in my opinion. If we can get hole number 1, that's gonna be boosting our confidence big time and gonna give us that little extra that we need because this is going to be a tournament with very low scores. So to get one extra directly from the beginning kind of allows us to miss and maybe make a mistake further ahead and stuff. So in this case I'm using some slight topspin here and 3 bars of side spin to the left. That is not my ultimate position here that I do want. After tweaking this one a little bit, I've been playing this one 2 bar side spin to the left with no topspin, no backspin instead. But in this case I'm going to use that type of setup, adjust for in between min and mid distance. I'm gonna hit it perfect, and you can see here now we're coming in way too hot here, otherwise, sorry, we're coming in way too short here, of course, and getting not the eagle there. I would love to change my adjustment there because, you know, we are straight at it though, but we need to push up our target a little bit more than play it in between mid and mid and play it without any to get the out any backspin or topspin to get the correct roll. Hole number 2 here, and now we're gonna try to make a rough bump. There is a lot of players in Master that are trying to do this rough bump. I'm not 100% sure that this is going to be the setup that we're going to look for in the end. At least as a starting point, it's good to know about the rough bump here. The thing that we do want to, of course, stay away from is to stay away from the bunker there, so we're not putting ourselves with a great shot left, so we put ourselves in the bunker. The thing that happens here when we do adjust, even though our ball guideline is following the fairway on the right there, we kind of get the ball to basically always miss right. It seems like the ball, when we bounce, we are not gonna get it to get the correct line towards the pin without having to use a little bit of curl. Because look at this now, I'm using 3 bars of topspin here, and now I'm aiming so the ball would be rolling towards the pin here in a good way. And slightly above there to just compensate for for when the ball is going to stop. And now we're going to miss right here. And I've been trying some different setups with this one as well without getting the absolute correct roll that I'm looking for. It's almost that we would consider playing with the Guardian, trying to bounce on the fairway on top. I will let you decide for you when you're playing in Master Division, and I don't want to come here to say that I have this 100% locked down when I'm not having. You can see we're getting a good roll, but you can see also that we aimed past the pin. and we still got it too much to the right and didn't have the speed to roll down towards the pin. We do make that adjustment for the rough bump 1-on-1. So we play it like, as it says, 7.7 in win, we play it 7.7 rings. I'm not trying to be negative about hole number 2, just to try to explain my thought process and also the options that we're actually having. And then we do have the rough bump that is possible to make a hole-in-one, but the line isn't really there yet, and you can see there on other scorecards that the hole-in-one on hole 2 is kind of rare. So hole number 3, now we come to a very tough one, and I like this type of wind here that we're going to have. If we are getting this ball with our drive in the rough, we are going to lose a stroke. If we cannot like ship it in from a long range long iron. The thing that we do have here, we do have the island there in the middle. Sure, we can reach over there with a power 4 or power 5 ball if we continue to just aim on the island. But most of the time we're going to drop short or I would say in the end, risk so much. So I'm going to use a power 3 ball at least. I highly suggest that you play with a power 4 ball if you do have someone to spare. Max distance with a 10% over adjustment, and then we're gonna go max overpower with as much topspin combined with as much side spin that we possibly can to the right. The curl is actually unnecessary here in the end. It works, but it put too much danger when it comes to the right side, and we kind of want to stay a little bit on the left side if that's okay. Not if that's okay, if to be having it more in an okay way here for us. Now when we get to that area, we shouldn't be having any problem to reach for the pin in 2. And you can see also playing with a power 4 ball like our opponent is doing gets him to, or he or she, I don't know, but like gets the player here to be able to play with the sniper. I will play with a Cataclysm here, even though I don't have it maxed out, but I do want to have the distance. We don't know if we're gonna get the roll every single time. We might going to get some very unlucky bounces and go short. We maybe have a very bad drive and bounce in the rough and roll out. So we do want to have some distance here. This is one of the few holes I would say that we will see very, very few albatrosses, and I like that. And a big reason for that is of course that we cannot play on the island. Second, look how, not glitchy, but how bumpy this part here is on the fairway. So it's kind of like sometimes when you play without topspin and just play it regular, and sometimes you play it with a little bit of topspin, sometimes with a little bit of backspin, but you kind of not really know how this ball is going to act when you approach for the pin here. So I'm stretching out a little bit here, trying to visualize where my ball guideline is going to be. Then I'm adjusting max numbers with a 10% over adjustment here as well. And you can see there I'm using max side spin to the right with what can I say, a little bit of topspin sometimes, and this time I'm not using anything. Just gonna let the ball do the job. And you can see we're coming in way left and way hot. And after playing this one a couple of times, I've been coming right, I'm coming left, I've been coming straight at it. So the luck of the bounce needs to be there. Hole number 4. Here we are going to play with a quarterback, and I'm going to add first and foremost 4 bars of backspin, trying to look for the part where we can find that little, not funnel, but like kind of sort of where we can see the ball guideline going a little bit back and forth. And that's going to be approximately like 3/4 of a square to the right of the pin. And then from this position, we're going to adjust 1-on-1. And you can see here now I'm adjusting 1-on-1 plus 1. But here you can see the result. I hit it great, which is going to push our ball more to the left. We're also going to gain less distance with a great shot. And we get it actually to drop in the hole. Great is new perfect, as I would like to say. But 1-on-1, move your target a little bit further up, just a smidge. So I do want you to use 4 bars of backspin, maybe take off a little bit and use like 3.75 bars of backspin, something like that, if you feel uncomfortable with hitting the ball perfect or not. We do need to get a pretty, what can I say, a pretty straight line and a pretty decent amount of backspin to be able to get that ball to stop. Otherwise we're going to have to rely on the ball to go past the pin, fall back down for an hole-in-one. Getting an hole-in-one here on hole number 4 is going to be rare, but it's going to absolutely be possible. But once again, we're going to play it one-on-one with the quarterback, and one-on-one means that it's going to be 10% over adjusted. And for you that are playing with a rock maybe, then you play 10% over adjustment with max number, because that is what one-on-one is going to be with the quarterback. Hole number, what will this be? Hole number 5, and we're going to start by playing this one 10% downhill. I'm going to make max topspin, which is 6-7 bars on the Apocalypse level 6. As much side spin to the left as possible, then one ball of curl outside to the left of the adjustment ring there. The thing that I'm looking for is to having my target just in the middle of the fairway without any risk on the left or any risk on the right, and then go max overpower. In this case, I reach 348. It's going to give me a Goliath minimum distance. Sometimes you're going to have a Thorn or a Hornet in maximum distance. Sometimes you're going to have a Goliath or maybe a Saturn or a B-52, depending on what long iron you're playing with, in minimum distance. I would say I like that spot. I really do. I like the Goliath min distance. I often pretty accurate with that, so it's going to be very interesting to see if I could replicate this drive a little bit here. The thing is though, depending on how much topspin, of course, the wind in your face and stuff, then we don't really know how far we're going to drive every time. So we're going to have to go with the same type of setup and then adjust from that point of view. Here you can see having Goliath in just minimum distance. And now I'm going to play this one 30% over adjustment. So minimum distance with a 30% over adjustment here. And I'm also going to play myself with 3 bars of backspin here, giving myself approximately kind of like a 1 square before the pin in terms of distance, and going straight at the pin. That's important. I'm aiming straight at the pin, no compensation for the bounce whatsoever, because I do want the compensation to be included in the rings that I'm adjusting here. So in this case, I'm going to adjust, you can see 5.7 approximately when it comes to the rings for an 11.6 in wind. Hit it perfect. Coming here very, very nicely, bounce, bounce, not too hot, not too slow, and we get it in for an eagle. Absolutely a good chance when it comes to making an eagle on this one, but once again, we're going to play with our short iron, so we do need to hit the ball perfect, and it's not going to be one of the par 4s that we otherwise can go green. We're gonna have the chance to go green on hole number 8 though, and which is going to be interesting to go. But we still have hole number 6, 7, 8, and 9 left. So my opponent going with a Saturn here, different approach. But I would say, once again, the drive decides so much. Goliath min distance when we go below 350 yard mark. And if we go like 352, 55, I think we're going to have to go Goliath min distance due to the slight headwind that we're going to have. So we're not going to be in between clubs. I do think that once we get over 355, we're going to play with a Thorn, because then we're going to have enough room to make our adjustment. Hole number 6. Here we're going to play with a quarterback, and I'm going to play with a Wind Fireball Power 1, and I'm going to, in this case, going to just play this one by the start of the green here, just with the yellow ring touching the fringe there on the bottom. And then I'm going to go and adjust this shot for 1-on-1. You can see there when I just slightly turn around, if you rewind a little bit, you saw that I maybe went a little bit past the pin. That was not the intention here. So you do want the ball guideline kind of show that the ball is going to roll down towards the pin there. I would also see us maybe using a tiny, just a smidge of side spin to the right here to help our ball to be a little bit more up there to the hill before it falls down, so we are not missing it left like we did now. Absolutely a possible hole-in-one chance with this type of wind, and I really do like this approach. If you don't use any Wind 5 balls in some form, then you can definitely play with a Power 3 Wind 3 like a Kingmaker, go on the green, do the same type of adjustment. Just have in mind there that the ball is going to of course have bigger effect when we have more headwind. We do have more crosswind in terms of like here having a 7.5, 8 mile per hour wind. We're gonna have around 10, 11, 12 with the Kingmaker. So then you need to go with a little bit more side spin to the right and make sure that you're aiming past the pin with your quarterback. I adjust my shot 1-on-1 with the quarterback as well. I don't know if I said that. So if it is 7.2 or 8.2 or whatever, then you play it for 1-on-1. So 8.2 rings or 7.2 rings, depending on what the wind is. So this was hole number 6. Good opportunity for a hole-in-one. Hope we can drop this one a couple of times. Hole number 7, straightforward. And here I'm going to play with a Apocalypse level 6, and I'm going to use an adjustment where I'm going to use the rough on the left as a reference. The thing that I do want you to know here is like if we do have wind that is pointing straight, maybe with a little bit pointed to the right, but mostly straight, then we do want to go with 6 bars of topspin with as much side spin to the left as possible. If we are going to have more than 15, then I'm going to reduce and play 5.5 bar. Let's say the wind is going to be pointing a little bit to the left, which could happen sometimes. Then I'm going to go with a little bit more, going with 6.5 bar topspin. And the same type of structure here, that I'm going to go max curl, max side spin to the right. And then I can hit the ball great to either side or perfect and still going to be, if not on the green, very close. And I kind of want to roll over, you know. I rather want to roll over, have a straight headwind approach. Or of course go straight at the pin, but that is going to be very hard to achieve. But if we roll over, we'll have a straight wedge in headwind, and that is something that we should be doing every single day. Berserker ball, important. Take a look at the wind. Let's say the wind is going to be 13, then I would be going with 7 or 8 bars of topspin depending on the club that you're having, or maybe pull out the globe and go with less topspin, so you make sure that you reach there to the green. I would say like if you're having a globe that will give you 18, 19, maybe almost 20 in wind, I do think you would be good to play that one maybe even without topspin, maybe 1 or 2 bars, and go for the pin. You can see here, straight wind here, shouldn't be any problem for us. Even if we hit this ball great, this is going to go in the hole, and that's such a confidence boost when come to. And this is a must albatross hole. So weird. It's super weird for me to say that, but it is a must albatross hole. Here I'm going to play for the green as well. Berserker ball is the play, and I'm going to go with max topspin here, which is going to give me 7 bars and 4.5 bar to the side. 7 bar might be a little bit too much when we have wind that is like 14.5 and upwards, so might going to reduce and play it 6. The thing that I'm looking for here is that I'm going to look for a complete curl shot without any hooks or slices and stuff. There is a curl shot, a hook shot here that I might going to play on stream, depending on if I do feel like I'm doing it. Otherwise, I'm going to go with this type of shot. We bounce very nicely here, and we're gonna roll, and you see we're coming in a little bit hot, but there is a little bit uphill there on the back of the green, and most of the times it's just going to stay on the fairway there and going to give us a very easy wedge towards the pin. Have in mind though that you will have to go with max curl. You will have to over adjust your drive with 10% when you do make your ring. So I'm trying to get my rings pretty much spot on when I turn my screen around and adjust from a more overview perspective, and then adjust out there, push up my target into max distance again, and then go max overpower. And as I said, maybe take off 1 bar of topspin there to make sure that you're not going to go super long. Our opponent unfortunately goes into the water here, and with a Titan, that is a big risk. That is a big risk in my opinion. So we're going to chip it in and gonna take the eagle here for hole number 8, which I'm happy with. And it's like this is going to be a must eagle in my opinion as well. And that is kind of, there is a lot of musts here in this tournament, but there is also many opportunities. We just need to dial in the key holes that we're having, where we do have some short ones to go for. Hole number 9, and here we are going to play with our driver with a power 3 ball, a kingmaker, and I'm going to use max topspin and a little bit of side spin to the right. It can all be from 3 bars, 4 bars, depending on what you feel comfortable with. Going to try to give myself a little bit more room than I'm having here. I'm being very, very close here to the rough, but that is because I do want to gain as much distance as possible. And I'm using max topspin with, as I said, like 3-4 bars of side spin. Then I'm going to over adjust 10% with our drive, so it's maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. No curl, more than a little smidge there to the right to just help our ball if we would be hitting great left. And then we bounce on the initial target, like spot that we were aiming for, and we roll out here towards the fairway, giving ourselves an open and a nice shot towards the pin. Here we can decide, do we want to play with a sniper directly on the green, or do we want to go for rough bump? There is kind of like a 50-50 in the community at the moment if we're going to play rough bump or if we're going to play directly on the green. Have in mind though, when you go on green, you're going to have to over adjust your shot for 10%. When you play rough bump, you don't have to over adjust your shot 10%. The reason being is that when you adjust and aiming on the green, the ball is going to be on a lower point than it is on the rough. That's why the difference is being. But we aren't on the second shot yet. Our opponent is still taking his drive and using a Titan ball here, no problem. Titan ball could be used with crosswind here. We can basically use whatever ball we like. But I would say power 3 ball would help us big time in terms of distance. We do want to be as close to the right here so we don't have the trees there on the left in our face. So you can see here I'm going to be in minimum distance of my club with the sniper. And the problem I do here is that I do over adjust this one massively, honestly. I should be playing this one. I play this one in between the minimum and medium. I should be playing this one just in minimum distance. I don't know why I did it, but that's why I want to be very clear with the explanation here. This is going to miss right, by the way, and I guess you have already counted that out. This is going to be a Master Division tournament that is going to be low scores. I would be super surprised if we're not seeing a bunch of minus 30s in the weekend round. I do see that you're going to have to do a minus 31, 32 to have a shot for the gold, and hopefully that's going to be enough. But looking for what the recent tournament has been giving us, it might going to take a little bit more. There is a good opportunity, like must albatross on hole 7. There is a must eagle on hole 8. So with those two and the other par 5s, then we do have a minus 14 there locked in a box. Then we do have the par 3s and the other par 4s. The par 4s opens up with an opportunity when we play with a short iron every time. And if we are good or lucky enough, when we're going to drop that one sometimes. That's the same on the par 3s. Hole number 6 being a really good chance for an hole-in-one. So there is big opportunity to get a good score. Once again, if you do have any questions, let me know in the comment section below and I will be happy to help you out. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the Community Cup.